Hi, I'm Jason Houtsma, guitar instructor for WorshipArtistry.com, and we have partnered with Song Select to bring you the acoustic guitar tutorial for our version of the song Go Tell It on the Mountain. It's a real fun, upbeat song, a lot of fun to play. This video is going to consist of our full band arrangement, as well as a walkthrough of the chord shapes, the rhythm, a walkthrough of the chord chart, so make sure you've got that handy, as well as a discussion on dynamics. If you or anybody on your worship team would like to actually learn the full song with all the other instruments as well as vocals, you can head over to worshipartistry.com/Christmas where you can get it all for free. All right, let's get started.
Shepherds kept there watching, silent flocks by night. Behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed the Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Was born in God's sin of salvation, that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
Our song is in the key of F, but we're capoed on the 3rd fret and playing it like it's in the key of D, so as always we're referencing our chord shapes, not our actual chord names. Starting out with the D chord, middle finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the E, ring on the 3rd of the B, pointer on the 2nd of the G. D is okay to hit, and it is our root note, so we kind of want to think about that because of the way that we're going to be strumming, but it's still okay to hit the A, just make sure that we mute that low E string. For our E, we're going to play an E7, and so that's like an E with a hole in it. Pointer finger on the 1st fret of the G, middle finger on the 2nd of the A, and then just making sure everything else makes it through. Next we'll have our G, ring and pinky will be on the 3rd fret of the E and B, pointer finger on the 2nd of the A, middle finger on the 3rd of the low E. Also okay if you just leave out the pointer finger, just make sure that you mute the A. For our A chord, we're going to play an A7. Surprising, it's got another hole in it. So middle finger's on the 1st fret of the, or 2nd fret of the B, pointer on the 2nd of the D, and then we just make sure that we mute that low E string. That's going to bring us back to D. All right, let's take a look at our rhythm. Strum-wise, we're doing an 8th note pattern, but once again, it's another one of those songs that has a little bit of a swing to it, that like down, down, up, down, up, down. So it's constantly has that kind of groove. And our strum pattern is going to go down, down, up, with that swing. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, the thing that makes this kind of work is that we actually are strumming kind of our lower note first, maybe our bass note. It doesn't need to be just the bass note because it's hard to do that when you're strumming. But to accentuate what's happening, Our first strum is just on the lowest, kind of the root strings. And we're keeping that feel for the whole song. The only part where it changes is on that, at the end of every verse, it does a little pause, which you hear in the walkthrough and in the music video. And that's just, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're right back into the chorus, nice and big. So those are the two rhythm things. I gave you a loop down below of the strum pattern with the D chord, just kind of over and over, so that you can really kind of get the feel of it and lock that in. Once you've got that, let's take a look at the walkthrough. A couple things to watch for on the walkthrough. One is that A chord, the 1, 2, 3, 4, before we go into the choruses. The other thing is that the changes in the intro are pretty quick, and you'll notice at the end of the chorus there's a G and a D in parentheses. That is because we only use those when we don't repeat. When we repeat or when we end, those get left out. But for the most part, you're going to play them. All right, let's take it from the intro. 2, 3, 4. Chorus, go on the mountain. Verse 1, quiet. Birds kept there watching. Silent flocks by night. Behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain. Go that Jesus Christ is born. Verse 2, shepherds feared and trembled when lo above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed the Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Verse 3, in lonely manger the humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation, that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Repeat. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. And that's it. So Jesus, you can kind of retard that a little bit if you want to. Jesus Christ is born. Really kind of land that a little harder. But for the most part, it's just strumming through. Keep in mind the dynamic as you're going through those verses, which we'll talk about a little bit in the next section. Solo acoustic section, this song is another one of those where we're just kind of trucking through. So you really need to bring the verses down a little bit and emphasize that pause to break it up a little bit, because otherwise it's just cranking away, right? And so when we hit those verses, really try and soften your playing. While shepherds watched and watched. While shepherds kept their watching. While shepherds kept their watching. Over silent flocks by night. So you can kind of tighten up your strum, so you kind of focus more on the lower strings. Go tell it on the mountain. And another verse, Just a way to kind of bring it down a little bit and give it a little bit more variation through the song.